Pop, what's going on, man?
Son, it's another day in paradise.
Oh my goodness. 7-28, Commanders Chiefs. For those of y'all who are our regular listeners, you notice you didn't get your Monday morning pod. Well, obviously we didn't play until Monday night.
They did get a Monday morning pod. Well,
So
Sunday night pod.
well, they got their Sunday night pod in
That's
preparation for
true.
Monday morning. So obviously, usually when things are the way they're supposed to be, which is we're not playing a primetime national game every week, you'll get a little bit of a different schedule. But this week, you're getting your Chiefs reaction and you're getting your Seattle preview and you're getting your Bada Bets all in one. So 3 for the price of 1 today. It's going to be a hefty podcast, a lot of fun.
We're going to run to
As you
hurry
can
up
see.
today.
Yeah, we're going to run tempo today.
Hopefully a little better than Marcus Mariota ran it the other night.
We're not going to run the football at all, though, so we'll keep that consistent. No rushing attempts.
Exactly.
But kick hots, man. Let's just talk about it. Why waste any more time on housekeeping? Let's just get into it, get it out of the way. We got smoked. It's 7-28. Frankly, Andy Reid called mercy rule on us once the fourth quarter came around. They could have hung 42 points on us without blinking. It was a rough one. The Chiefs, at the end of the day, it was 7-7 at the half. The Chiefs, at the end of the day, had 432 total yards to the Commanders' 260 yards. The Chiefs held the ball for 34 minutes. So they were just in complete control of the game once the second half took over. You had a really long, sustained drive at the beginning of the second half where you actually held them on 4th and goal. You had a goal line stand, and then the play came back, and then they scored on 5th and goal. Basically, you got a replay. And then the wheels came off the cart, and we'll get into it. We can talk about some key moments. The headlines are probably that it was 7-7 at the half, and the defense looked reasonable for the first half of the game, until it seems like they kind of figured out what was going on, and either there was over adjusting or under adjusting, but clearly you weren't able to sustain that. And then injuries. No, Terry McLaurin re-aggravated that quad. He was super impactful in the couple of catches that he did have. Laramie Tunzel hurts that hamstring. You saw Brandon Coleman was a surprise active before the game, so Laramie Tunzel definitely had that injury going into the game, and he couldn't go.
Coleman looked pretty decent.
Coleman looked good. I don't know what's going on there. Looked like
one of the many mysteries with this team.
He looked like our second best tackle, and we do have to play 2 tackles every week. And generally, you want the 2 best on the field. We'll get into that later. But yeah, Coleman looked pretty good in Tunzel's absence. That wasn't the issue. Javon Kinlaw, who played a pretty good game, had a weird shoulder thing. Sounds like all of those guys are fine. Matt Gay, with a back injury, you couldn't kick the football because you didn't have a guy that was able to kick the football ready to go, which is just, on one hand, guy gets hurt on Saturday. What can you do? On the other hand, week 1 of the NFL, we all watched Matt Prater after Tyler Bass was put on the IR week 1. We watched Matt Prater come in and kick a game-winning field goal in Buffalo. So, operations can be prepared for this. There's no rule that says you can't have a backup kicker on your practice squad. There's no rule that says you can't have a kicker ready to go in case your kicker gets hurt. And we've actually won some football games because of that in the past. You look at the Giants game last year. So to be on the other end of that situation is puzzling. But I tell you what, you could have had prime Adam Vinatieri. That wouldn't have won you that football game. So you get a pass on what was pretty bad mismanagement there. But yeah, I'm gonna let you talk, Pop. I've been going for 4.5 minutes.
I was said to myself I was going to interrupt you less today, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, Dan Quinn explained that they just wanted to be aggressive. I don't know that I had too big of a problem with the 4th down calls, although being up 10-7 might have been nice. Just to have a lead at some point might have been good. I also think like just how you started the second half, because the second half became the wheels kind of came off the cart, right? I did like the energy from the defense in the first half. The offense was moving the ball, but as your grandpa used to say, no conclusion. They just weren't finishing. There were, yes, I thought there were just pivotal moments, right? I mean, Debo not catching that pass, and then it just bounces in the air to where their guy can run under it and basically fair catch it. I mean, why couldn't it just be a drop, right? Which would have been the normal situation in that. But it's just that to me, that play was encapsulated our season so far. It's just there's a lack of concentration. The classic, he was looking to run before he caught it, but then it just bounces in the air and creates a situation. I think Zach Ertz not getting that first down by, I think it was a bad spot, but regardless, you've got to kind of leave no doubt in that situation, and he wasn't able to do
Correct.
it. And then I think, they come down and score, like I thought it was really good. They got the ball back with a little less under a minute at the end of the second half after we scored, and you're thinking classic second quarter, sorry. And I think classic Commanders are going to at least get a field goal out of this. We actually stopped them, right? Okay, they score on the first drive of the second half. You almost kind of got to expect that after the way things have been going.
They've done that in 6 of their 7 games
But
thus
then we
far
muffed the
this year.
kick. Jalen Lane muffs the kick, so it's out at the 1-yard line. And then, he drops a pass in that same sequence.
Which, by the way,
we do more things. What I was positive about was the energy we came out with. I thought the game plan was pretty decent, at least to start. But it's like we're doing everything we possibly can do to shoot ourselves in the foot. And yeah, I mean, the Chiefs are damn good, right? They're just a much better football team than we are at the moment. But I also do feel like that if we come out with that level of energy, against most teams, that we would give ourselves a better than average chance. If we come out with that kind of energy against the Seahawks on Sunday night and cut back on some of the mistakes, I think we've got a shot, right, at turning things around. And maybe it's just due theory at that point. But, we're not up to it, and injuries have just been a big factor and very devastating. So,
yeah,
I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it too much because we're 3-5. We've lost 3 straight. That's exactly who we are right now. Whether it's whatever's gotten us to that point, but I guess we did see some defensive adjustments and defensive changes. Right, we saw Tyler Irwin's start. We saw Jordan McGee get a lot more snaps and start. Louvie to the offensive line. A really nice game out of Jacob Martin. Like, what do you think about the changes that we saw in defense and how that all shook out?
Oh, you can't go back at this point.
Yeah.
I'm going to answer that quickly, and then I have a few things. I took some notes. I think that was a really comprehensive breakdown, Pop, that you did there. That was really good. And I took a couple notes of things that I want to highlight from there that I think swung the game. But before that, yeah, in terms of the adjustments and playing the young guys, I tweeted Deuce on Twitter. He said something about playing the young guys, and he wants to kind of live and die by it for the rest of the year. And I think you have to. I think Tyler Owens has got to be a starting safety at this
Who's
point.
to say it's actually going to make
Got to
things
be playing
worse?
linebacker.
They won't be an upgrade.
I got news for you. It can't get worse. You got to play guys to develop guys, and that was a knock that was on Dan Quinn from his Atlanta days. You got to play the young guys to develop them. At a certain point, look at what's happened with Luke McCaffrey, right? Luke McCaffrey never got a shot last year, and you wonder if at points in the year last year, Luke was getting the touches that he was getting this year. You gotta play guys to get them ready. So I think that's why with a Jalen Lane, for example, I'm cool to take some lumps because I would rather Jalen Lane get those catches than Robbie Chosen, who at this point, even though he was the best receiver on the field in Dallas, which makes me want to vomit to say that out loud. But
they caught him.
Again, I'd rather a guy like Jalen Lane at this point with this kind of season you're 3-5. Like I don't want to say that it's time to just go full. We're very close to playing a cover of Dust in the Wind on this podcast. We're very close. I don't want to go all the way there yet, but at this point, when you've had guys like, Quan Martin looking lost, when you've had guys like Bobby Wagner not performing, yeah, let McGee play. Let Owens play. Like, there were so many instances of them not knowing who to pass off and where. I mean, they were lost out there last night, man. They were fast. They were fast. I like that. I like the speed. They were lost, but the only way to get found is you got to play. You got to put the boo-boos on tape, and then you got to look at the tape and say, okay, that's where you should be, and then hopefully
I,
correct it, right? So that's my take on the young guys. I think you got
I
to
was pretty
play.
impressed with Jacob Martin. I thought he played a hell of a game. Like I was like,
Yeah,
where is that? He's
he's
pretty.
kind of a journeyman, huh? I don't really know his story, to be honest with
He was
you.
with the Bears.
Yeah, he's born in '95, so yeah, he's been around. He's 29, so he's been around a few different teams. But yeah, I think like cases like that, like I mean, Jacob Martin's got to play. Otherwise, I got to start taking some creatine and drinking protein powder because you got nobody to put on that defensive line at this point. But yeah, I think you got to keep letting the young guys play, build some tape.
Well, the whole
And
experiment of 35-year-old plus veterans to plug holes, I really do hope that's over, right? Because
it's a dose of humble pie this year.
we're not as close as we thought we were to being contenders, obviously. And I understand people are concerned about Jaden's rookie contract and blah 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 blah. They've got to get younger. They've got to be smarter in free agency. I think they're going to need to take bigger swings at players that are in their prime. And I'm not saying it's they're going to not be able to bounce back the rest of this season or next year. I think it could be a quick rebound, but we got to go about it differently. We just have to, right?
Yeah.
Without calling anybody out individually. I mean, we've got to get more athletic. We've got to get more speed.
We're a year late on a couple guys, and that burnt us. That combined with the injuries burnt us. And these are guys that going into the season, you said you're willing to be a year late on these guys if some of the other young guys can contribute. But again, if you take the injuries out of it, I figure you probably comfortably beat Chicago if you've got Terry McLaurin out there and Jaden's fully healthy. So you're looking at 4-4. And if you're 4-4 and you start letting the young guys go and get some snaps, you're probably feeling a little bit better. But at this point in the year, yeah, I think like you let Tyler Owens play, you let Jordan McGee play. Let's get Kay Madrano out there. Like let's get Johnny Newton out there, getting playing. I think he was the second highest graded player by PFF last night. So like you got to just let the young guys play. And
play your best 11. That's what I liked about it. That's a note that I took, right? Is that they mixed and matched some players. They pushed Luvu to the defensive line. They got some of these younger guys in. Just play your best 11. And whatever the best four linemen are, whatever mix of that is, even if the guys don't typically pay edge, let them play. Let them go out there. Let them dominate physically.
It's not a you're actively tanking thing. It's your guys are not getting it done. So take a shot on some guys who maybe can give the guys who can get it done. Hopefully, give them a chance to step up.
Has nothing to do with tanking.
Whether or not they do, well, there's a lot of guys who say you should play all the young guys because you're tanking, and
that's ridiculous.
That's what I'm addressing. It's not a thing of tanking. It's the starters aren't getting it done. Put the backups in, see if they can get something going. And then if not, in the offseason. You got to know what you're working with in the offseason. If Jordan McGee can't get it done, you got to get a linebacker.
Well,
if Tyler Owens can't get it done, you got to get a safety. Like you got to know what to address. And
it's just
you can only know based off of training camp so much clearly from how this year's unfolded.
Look, I'll just say this real quick, right? Like for my thing. One, the whole tanking idea and wrap the season and rest Jaden. I mean, it's so ridiculous. There's not one person in that building that's thinking that they should do that, right? It's just ridiculous. They're not going to give up at 3-5. They're just not. And nobody would. Nobody, if you had Dan Quinn's job, you wouldn't. If you had
No.
AP's job, you wouldn't. So it's a stupid conversation to even have. It's such a fan thing to say that you're going to give up, you're going to tank at this point. They shouldn't tank until it's maybe week 15 or 16 and maybe things are over.
Yeah. If
You've
you want
got
to
to
play Mariota in the
and
last game of the year, fine.
it's also culture based, right? You've got to
Yeah.
have a culture of trying to win. So they're going to do everything they can to try and win. We'll get into whether Jaden should play in our Seattle preview or not. You hope that McLaurin isn't back on the shelf. I think he's going to try and do everything he can. B. Mitch had a great take on that. Said, he thought that he just got shook up. He landed pretty hard in that thigh. An incredible catch. How good is Terry McLaurin? I was
Stud.
glad I went on my little rant last week calling people out for saying things about him. But thought he was more shook up and maybe just felt a little jolt from it. I hope that's true. But you never know with those kind of injuries, like quads, hamstrings, calves. Those things linger. Bruised heels. Those things linger. And that's kind of the problem. I guess the one person that I would say almost definitely looks like I would guess might be out for the next game is Laramie Tunsil with
Yeah.
that hamstring issue. But yeah, I'm with you. Like, I mean, I feel my closing thought in terms of like any reason for optimism is, I don't know. We keep waiting out this injury thing. I hope that at some point we can get guys back healthy. I think that if you can get one win against Seattle, maybe a good lead into the next situation, which I kind of feel like we're just due for one, and I think if we can come out with the same level of intensity and same level of energy, which I would hope on a Sunday night game at home, that we can do that. They got to come across the country. It's never an easy thing to do. If you get one, you're gonna start to feel a little differently about things to get the 4 wins, right? And we've always said that there is a path that if they can get that, one of these 3 and take care of business against the Dolphins in Spain, you get into the bye at 5-6. You still got a season in front of you because the schedule softens up a little bit after that. So that's all you can try and do. And I do think that I was a little encouraged by what the defense was able to put together in that first half. If we can get the offense back to something near and where we think it could be, maybe we can go on a little bit of a run.
Yeah. I mean, through 9 last year, I just looked it up. The Rams were 4-5 through 9 last year, and that was a good point. I'm just getting started on the junk, so I don't know all their names yet, but finally awake early enough on the West Coast to be listening to them. But there's a good point. One of the junks made was like the Rams were really banged up last year and kind of snuck in and then made some noise. That's pretty much a best case scenario for us at this point. They got hot down the stretch. Don't ask me if I'm predicting it, but they were 4
I'm
and
not
5.
predicting it either.
They were 4-5 through 9 games last year, and if we can get to that point, you start to feel a little bit better, and then hopefully you can get hot. And we do have a softer schedule down the stretch coming out of these next 2 games, including playing Philly twice. You gotta hope to split that. But to wrap it up, I think the key takeaways from Pop's breakdown, like I tweeted it last night. It's been my main lament with this point of concern or frustration with this team. The lack of complementary football showed its head again last night because the defense comes out and plays, and you get 3 trips to scoring position, and you get 0 points. You get 0 points off 2 takeaways, and I knew it when we didn't score the second touchdown, and we let Kansas City score first. I said, I didn't want to say it, But I kind of felt like game over because I kind of felt like Mahomes ain't going to turn the ball over twice and get and not be in a 14-0 deficit from that and lose that game. Like you can't turn over a team like that twice. Like they're done making their mistakes. They made their mistakes. They turned the ball over twice. One of them was kind of a fluky play off a guy's hands. The other was an insane interception by Marshawn Lattimore, who deserves to be highly graded and respected for that, for all that he was panned. He played a hell of a game last night. But off the back of that, it's like you can't not get any points off that. And then for Lane to muff the kickoff and then drop the pass after Kansas City scores, you can respond. If you respond and answer and you make it 14-14 after that, even 10-14 after that, you have a ball game. But giving them the ball back right after that, right after they score, just completely like, the defense can't keep holding up, man. You know it. And that's my last point. The defense is capable. There are NFL football teams where the defense actually plays 4 full quarters of football. You are capable of keeping it up. And I understand you're not going to hold them to 7 points. And for me, I put last night much more on the offense than I do the defense. Frankly, you would hope, if I told you at the beginning of the season, injuries notwithstanding, situation notwithstanding, hey, we held Kansas City to 28. Would you have told me we probably could have scored 20, 29 points to pull that off? You would have said, okay, yeah, 28's about right for Kansas City in this defense. Now, they called mercy rule on us at the end of the game. They made it look closer than it was. But you are capable of finishing drives and sustaining drives. And at the end of the day, that's what separates good
It's tough on a defense, though, when you don't get anything from an
I
offense.
agree.
I think a lot of that just comes down to if you're just constantly put under duress, put on the field, at some point you're going to show cracks. So, I agree with you. I think we should move on to Seattle, but
Yes.
I think this is much more on the offense than it was the defense. And look, we'll talk about it in our keys for Seattle. 5's a cheat code, man, and we're missing them. And granted, he covers up some sins. People call him a deodorant, like whatever terminology you want to use. But he's a cheat code. He converts those fourth downs. He figures out a way to escape impossible looking pass rush situations. He's magical when it comes to that kind of stuff. We've seen him do it this year. For all the people that say, he hasn't been himself. I mean, I'm just not on that page. I've seen him be himself. I saw him in LA play a hell of a game. I've seen him, look really damn good. And if you look at his stats, it backs it up. He just isn't healthy, which is concerning. So,
Yeah.
and he needs some help. I mean, we saw when he didn't have his receivers out there, it was a tough day at the office. I'm not saying he could do it all by himself, but you get him some complimentary pieces, get him out there. I think he can do a lot of damage. And that's, at the end of the day, I'll say this, take Patrick Mahomes off the Chiefs for the better part of 5 games. And what would you expect to happen?
Yeah.
He's our Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
I'm not comparing Jaden to Patrick. I'm not saying he's as good as Patrick, but he's as important to our team as Patrick is to the Chiefs.
Yep.
So let's talk Seattle.
So getting into the Seattle situation, so our official start of the Seattle preview here.
We've touched on it a little bit already.
Yeah, but this is where you're going to see the thumbnail say Seattle preview. Write that down actually. But we're getting into it here. It's kind of a Kickots, another primetime game is what's written on here. I sure wish this game was at 1 o'clock on a Sunday. I'll tell you what.
This is brutal, man.
Sucks.
All these primetime games, staying up late to just get your ass kicked is worst as a football fan. It's the worst. If you win, you can deal with it. You're tired the next day, but you're kind of buzzing from the win. But getting your butt kicked on prime time over and over and over again, and all these primetime games in the first half of the season. I mean, I know it's loser talk, but it's just been brutal.
I tell you what, we
And
ain't
I'm
getting
not
them
looking
next year.
forward to playing Sunday night. Like, I hope it's a different result. I think it could be a different result, but I'm not looking forward to it.
I tell you what, we ain't getting this many primetime games next year. I hate to break it to you. Going to look a lot more like 1 p.m. on
I,
Sunday.
I think it's kind of doubtful, which is fine by
Um,
me.
that's fine by me too. And I think we might end up getting flexed out of a couple of these down the stretch if things keep moving on this pace. But that's what we got. We got Sunday Night Football this Sunday. Who's playing and is healthy for the Commanders? You won't know until Sunday. Hate to break it to you. Will JD5 play? We ain't gonna speculate because you don't know. Should he play? Let me
They've
tell
been
you
in
what.
that. I mean, to give them some credit, they've usually by Friday they've been telling us who's going to be the quarterback. So I think we'll know
Yeah,
sooner than Sunday there.
maybe you'll know on Friday. And I think it's at that point in the injury. And Schefter was already putting out a little bit of sprinkles before the KC game that he may not play. Schefter also said he thought Terry and the team were very far apart the day before Terry signed his contract extension. So make of that what you will. When Schefter, it depends. Schefter's got two modes, right? He's got podcasting with the boys mode where he's on McAfee and he's saying stuff because he's got to say stuff. And then he's got reporting all the greatest breaking news at the last second mode where he's really breaking stuff. And he was in podcasting with the boys mode when he said that. So take that as podcast Adam. But all with all due respect to the GOAT.
I mean, I think that
But
you can make arguments both ways. I was encouraged by the fact that he traveled with the team. He was smoking
yeah,
and
that's
joking on the
just
sidelines, which sometimes I'm not gonna be one of those guys that say he smiles too much because I love his personality, but some of
it's
it when you're losing by 21, maybe could be
this
a
is
little
the
different.
it's the
But
generational gap showing itself
yeah,
here.
yeah. But anyway, I love
It's what you're
Jaden.
here. It's what you're here for, Pop. It's what you're here for.
I love Jaden. I don't know. At some point, I can't smile when I'm losing by 21. I'll just say that.
I don't
And
care.
but it doesn't matter. But I also think the fact that he made the trip, I think, was a good sign. DQ did say in his press conference today that he kind of, I don't know, what I heard was he's practicing tomorrow. So
He's going to test it, but you just never know
yeah,
with
he's going to
these
test it.
soft tissue
So
injuries. And
and I mean, what we know about Jaden is he's always pushing to play. So I mean, look, I'm on the page of definitely if he needs to be right to play. And I'd much rather have him rest a week than re-injure the thing and just start the cycle over again. Having
yeah,
said
agreed.
that, if the doctors clear him and he's running around the practice field looking like Jaden, play him. Like that's it.
Yeah,
I mean, again, if he's cleared, we got a football game we got to go win. And I don't know if he re-aggravates the thing. He's got plenty of other time to rest if we just keep losing.
yeah,
So I think it's kind of one of those games that you got to start considering. That you've got to win if you want to have any hope in the season. And I
yeah,
think they need to. Look, again, I'm not advocating rushing him out there. I don't want him to play hurt, but if he's running around and he's cleared, he's got to play.
yeah.
That's my opinion. Right. So
Um,
I'm kind of in the middle. Like I don't want him to play if he's not well, and it's one of those things like that I was telling the insider about this, right? I haven't had the fortune of injuring my hamstring, but I've injured my quad and I've had a lot of issues with my calf. And sometimes it feels good, man. You do all the right things through rehab, through regular exercising, but playing in a game is different than practice. It's different than
yeah,
everything. And you might feel good, and then all of a sudden you try to just make that one cut, and it goes on you again. And I hope that's not the case with Jade.
yeah. I
So
hope so too. I mean, I hope for all intents and purposes that Sunday is the last time we see Marcus Mariota. Um, or last night, Monday night. But yeah, I don't think he's
it's
gonna
50
play.
50. Yeah, it's
It's just my gut.
50-50 at
It's my
best.
gut.
Yeah.
I think they're putting those sprinkles out before the Seattle game because they want to kind of be like, this is total speculation now, and this is the last I'm going to say about it because honestly, there's just nothing we can do to get him out there or not get him out there. But
Yeah.
I think the PR reason for those sprinkles coming out is they want to be able to not play him against Seattle and be like, but we're not tanking. He's just not ready yet. They want to be able to defend that, like, oh, well, their season's over anyway, so they're not playing Jaden. They're trying to get ahead of defending that narrative because it's not what's
I
happening.
don't think they're
He's
doing
just
that.
not ready, which, by the way, Lamar wasn't ready after 2-3 weeks with his hamstring either. It's going to be will it be 3 or 4 weeks by the time he plays
I think
against
Lamar's
Miami?
injury was a little more severe, but yeah.
Yeah, and it was more. I mean, it was initially reported like 2 to 4 weeks. I think Jaden was more reported like, you know, day to day kind of thing. But there's no point, in my opinion, there's no point in rushing him or pushing it for this season. But moving on from the Jaden thing that we've already probably spent way too much time on, Seattle is darn good, man. Pop kind of doesn't feel the same way, but I think you're seeing a really good football team. Sam Darnold can throw it all over the yard. That's just a straight up bad matchup for us. If you took an alien from wherever aliens come from, getting into our scouting report here, and you had him watch Sam Darnold play quarterback right now, he'd probably tell you he's one of the 5 best in the NFL at this moment in time. He's playing at that type of level. He's playing really darn well. He's pushing the ball down the field. There's not a lot of throws he can't make. He's Sam Darnold, and he comes with the connotation that he's had before. But ultimately, are we going to be able, offensively or defensively, to make Sam Darnold feel the kind of pressure that we think Sam Darnold folds under? I'm not super confident about that. That will be in our keys. I'm sure that'll come up. But otherwise, I mean, the big part of what's
Not
going
sure
on
why
with
we
Sam
should even
Darnold,
show up now.
a big part of what's going on with Sam Darnold is Jackson Smith and Jigba is playing like lights out. He's all over the field. Nobody's really been able to slow him down. He's on 2,000-yard pace. So that's going to be a tricky one as well. And then, I mean, obviously, defensive-minded head coach in Mike McDonald, whose defenses actually play really darn well. It's a tough matchup, man, and I think it's a good team.
So Dominic, but we had 3 sacks and 7 quarterback hits against Pat Mahomes, right? Like I don't think it's unrealistic to think that we can bother Sam Darnold.
Absolutely. But is it something that we've been able?
He ain't Pat Mahomes.
Is it something we've been able to consistently do over the course of the season?
No, you got to hope that you've kind of cracked the code on that a little bit, and that you're trying to be a bit more aggressive, and you're going to continue what you did last Sunday. That's what you got to hope.
Absolutely. And getting into our keys here, but this is a scouting report. So this is me talking about what Seattle does well. That's the point of the scouting report, to talk about the opponent. So you get so touchy and defensive every week when I tell you what the opponent does well. That's my job.
Now you just called Sam Darnold a top 5 quarterback.
He's playing it a really, I said, if you took an alien and had him just watch this year, he's playing at a really good level. He's playing
really well, and I'm not taking anything away from him.
Do I think he's a top 5
I don't fear Sam Darnold.
Do I think he's a top 5 quarterback? No, I absolutely fear what he could do to this defense and the way the level at which.
No, I mean, look, they've got a really good. I will agree that they've got a really good team. There's no question about it. It's not they've got a really good team. I don't think it's Detroit or Kansas City, but it's a tough matchup.
Apparently I need PFF Plus to pull up their list, but yeah, I don't think he's far out, maybe 7 or 8. But he's been playing well.
PFF's never wrong.
It's a tough matchup. Whatever. Pop thinks I'm gonna hate to be proven correct next Monday. I'm gonna hate it.
All right, you're picking Seattle. We got you.
Definitely. The bottom line is getting in our keys to the win here. So now in this segment we talk about us. We talk about what we got to do. The scouting report.
Yeah, there you go.
Now we're talking about us.
I get it. It's only been 3 seasons.
Offense has got to sustain drives and finish. That's the number one. we got to get this offense rolling, man. I think because the defense has been so poor, and there's been the injuries that they've been. It's been hard to judge exactly what's going on by the offense, but like it's definitely also been a disappointment offensively this
Well,
year.
I don't know that one has a whole lot to do with the other. I mean, offense is not. Look, I don't know. I've said it so many times. People are probably tired of hearing me say it, but this team was built to win with offense and hope that the defense could make a few plays and get a couple of stops. But it was never the 85 Bears, where the defense is going to carry you.
100%.
And the offense hasn't done enough. They
That's
just
exactly
haven't.
what I said.
And it's it's exactly what you said. So I'm just emphasizing your point. The boys
I
are a
like
little
it.
raw. Boys are a little raw today.
I agree with
But
you. I wasn't ready for what I'm doing my job on the scouting report for it to upset you as much as it did. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings, Pop.
you're like Joe Gibbs. You make every opponent sound like the juggernaut of the NFL.
I mean,
But
I don't know what that guy knew about football. I'm happy to be putting that
but
sentence.
anyway, keep it rolling. I think the offense has got to, like you said, I think the complementary. I'm much more disappointed with the lack of complementary football on the offensive side of the ball than I've been on the defensive side. I think I could definitely explain it due to injury, but you're not going to put up 7 points and win any NFL game.
Yeah,
right. So
I agree. I agree. Yeah, it's just not going to be enough. So that's our number one key: is the offense has got to sustain drives and finish. The offense has got to put the team up on its back. Ultimately, that's what happened in LA. That's what happened against the Raiders. New York, first week, it's almost hard to repeat that recipe, but it's similar to what happened there. Offense has got to get it done. Jaden, if you got Jaden back, it's got to be that way. And if you don't have Jaden back, you got to run the dang football and possess it. That's how I think it's got to happen.
I didn't even run the ball in the keys because Cliff won't.
It ain't happening.
Yeah.
But hopefully Bill can get hot at the beginning of the game and just command it.
Cliff won't.
But you got to repeat. Number two is you got to come out with that same level of defensive intensity. It's a double-edged sword when you show what you showed in the first half of the Chiefs game, because for a large portion of the season, you're wondering, can they even do that? Are they capable? Is it just an incapable unit? And you saw what you saw against Kansas City. So if you can play like that for a half against Mahomes, give me 3/4 of that for a game against Darnold, and you feel like you got a good chance. I agree with Pop on that one. But you have to come out with that level of defensive intensity and sustain that throughout the game, or at least not drop off as far. And number three, you got to make the play that's there. You can't be giving the ball away. Can't lose the turnover battle. Can't make unforced errors in key moments. And that gets back to number one, with just finishing drives. You got to finish drives. You can't have these like false starts on first down. You can't have these holding penalties after you get first on third down. Like you can't have the balls hitting off guys' helmets. Like it's just, team is not good enough to make up for those kinds of mistakes. So you've got to play good, fundamental, sound football and hope that your playmakers, your Jadens, your Terrys, your Debos, your Bills can take you over the top. That's the recipe for this team.
That's it. I agree. I mean, I think it, I worded that way because, you always say win a turnover battle, but, it's not just that. It's muffing the kick and letting it roll out of bounds on the 1 yard when you just got scored on for them to start the half, and giving yourself a 99-yard drive. It's like you said, it's losing concentration, letting the ball bounce off your helmet. It's, it's all those things that it's unforced errors, right? Those are the things that you got to try to avoid. If the other team makes a play or knocks the ball out of your hands and makes a turnover or makes a great catch for an interception, those things that they make the play, you tip your hat to them. But doing it to yourself, self-inflicted wounds, which is what we were doing throughout the course of that game last night. Kansas City's currently the Super Bowl favorite. So I'm not going to put Seattle in that same, category of teams, but they are a playoff team and they're playing really good ball. And it's a game I think we can win, but we've got to play better. You know,
Yep, it's the
you
bottom
know.
line. You're not going to win a lot of games playing the way we've played. So playing better, and these things I think are at the center of what is realistic to be able to improve and would be important. So that's why there are keys. Moving on to Bada Bets. What do you say we get to a pop?
Yep.
People have waited long enough. So Bada Bets, boys took a bye last week with the various situations at play. We're not able to get the picks out, get things done. Frankly, we needed it. I'm 17 and 26 this year. Dad is 16 and 27. Pop 16 and 27. So also not so hot there.
Only
Uh,
one game behind you now, though.
yeah, yeah, it's bad. It's all. I mean, it's kind of like being a game behind the Carolina Panthers, right? It's like you don't want to be
We
there.
got a Commanders-like start to the
You,
season. Let's see if we
for
can rally.
For sure. And you know what? I'd rather if it has to be one, I'll sacrifice my bottom record for the Commanders to rally. I'm happy to say that.
100%.
But Sunday Night Football, Seahawks 3.5-point road favorites at the Commanders. Interesting to see how this line moves with Jaden news over the course of the week. What do you like, Pop? At that 3.5 value, what do you like?
I'm gonna go with the Commanders. I mean, I feel like we're due for one.
Yeah,
I feel like I like the energy that we came out with Monday night. That's my silver lining. I think that the offense showed they can move the ball. You know, it got to a point where they just sputtered out. I think that that's a really great Chiefs defense. It's a really good Seattle defense too. But I'm just going to kind of use due theory and say we're due for one, and we're
yeah.
due to give Dom and Pop some smiles here.
We need something,
Along with the
man.
rest of the fan base.
I'm gonna say we at least cover. I think Commanders getting 3.5 points at home. If you get a healthy Jaden Daniels or a Jaden Daniels that can play, and then you get McLaurin back, or I think he's going to be okay. But you get the guys that you need there. I'll take it. Yeah, I think it's the team that when they play at their best is the better team, but we haven't seen that, so it's hard. But I will take the Commanders.
With their best
Thursday Night
players on the
Football,
field. Yeah.
got the best players on the field for sure.
Yeah.
Thursday Night Football, Ravens 7.5-point favorites at the Dolphins. What do you like here, Pop? Lamar's first game back.
Yeah, supposedly. I'll go Ravens. It's a lot of points, but the Dolphins
Yeah,
have just been so bad. And, you know, you would think, although they've been kind of unpredictable this year too, that, you know, they'll start to turn things around a little bit after that good win against
yeah.
your Bears last week.
I'm going with your just gonna move right on past that. I'm going with your 2025-2026 Super Bowl champions, the Baltimore Ravens. You heard it here first. Sunday at 1:00, Colts 3-point favorites at the Steelers. Colts road favorites. I got the Colts here. I'm hammering that. What do you like?
Man, the Colts are rolling, huh? Yeah, Steelers at home. They've been a little bit. I don't know. They've been a little bit fraudulent, fake. I can't think of the right word I want.
It's
But
just
like,
Mike Tomlin football,
you
baby.
think
They
they're
keep
going
you
to be
close to
good, and
field
you think
goals.
they're
Yeah,
going to start rolling over people, but they're just not quite there in terms of a good football team. Having said that, I don't know. Is this the week the Colts come back down to earth? You know, the Steelers at home are always tough. Colts are favorite, so road favorites. I'll go Steelers. I'll
yeah.
I'll zag a little bit here.
I'm definitely going with the Colts. I actually really like that bet. 49ers 2.5-point favorites at the Giants. What do you like there, Pop?
I know the 49ers are beat up. Again, road favorites. Yeah, that Scatterboo injury was pretty tough. I also feel like I like Jackson Dart a lot, so this is not a Jackson Dart dig. I think that there could be some rookie quarterback regression a little bit too. Niners got a good defense. I'm going to go Niners.
Yeah, give me the Niners. I think Salah's going to have Dart in a dark, dark, dark place. I'll say that. And I like Dart too, but I think Salah's going to give that kid nightmares. Chiefs 1.5-point favorites at the Bills. This is all the sirens are going off on a
Best game.
soccer line
Yeah.
here. This will be a fun one. I tell you what, it's going to be a bad day to be a chicken wing when this game is on the TV. What do you like?
Good warm up for your Commanders game.
True.
Chiefs are rolling. I think they're just playing like the best team in football right now. It's never easy to go to Buffalo and win. That could be an absolute dogfight. But I'm going to just stick with the hot team right now. Go with the Chiefs.
Yeah, give me the Chiefs too. I mean, I want to pick the Bills here. I really do. This is a system pick. Bills is a heavy system pick. Um,
I
that's a
don't even know
super
what that
sucker
means.
line. Um, but I'm gonna take the Chiefs because I don't know. I refuse to believe we're that bad. I think they're just that good. Monday Night Football, Cardinals at Cowboys. Cowboys 3-point favorites. What do you like there, Pop?
Cowboys, you talk about it like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde team. Like
Yeah, for
they
real.
look like world beaters one week and then rough the next. But I also don't know that I believe that greatly in the Cardinals. So I'll pick with my head, not my heart, and say Cowboys at home.
Yeah,
Bounce back.
I like the Cowboys as a team that's like I wouldn't say ascending, but I think they're maybe a little bit better than their record, and they're just kind of in the early stages of not maybe a rebuild, but a retool. Whereas I think the Cardinals are just completely falling apart at the seams. Jonathan Gannon's probably on his way out. I'm a Cowboys. I'll take the Cowboys here, get those points. Or I think they cover. We're 45 minutes into the pod. I'm out of words. I think the Cowboys cover.
All right. Time to
All
wrap
right,
it, I think, then.
let's wrap up this
It's a bounce
podcast.
back week for Dom Pop Bada Bets. It's a bounce back week for the Commanders. Let's go
Needs
get
to
that
be.
W.
Needs to be. Let's hope we don't start the next podcast with an acoustic guitar. Let's wrap this thing up. Without further ado, I've been Dom.
This is Pop.
Thank you all for a great week, everybody, and hail to the Commanders.
Yeah.